Greetings, I'm Laura Puccia Valtorta. Welcome to episode 21 of my podcast, B is for Bisexual. This story is the second part of The Christmas Cranks Put on a Play, and this is the second and final part. These Christmas cranks are a bunch of weirdos. Like the people that normally work at a university, I'd say this story was pretty understated. These people toot their own horns and they follow the beats of their own drums, and I say, yay. Joining me in the reading are my husband Marco Valtorta, the computer science professor. He's actually a part of the university. And Dante Valtorta, our son. I am a content creator, and my films include Bermuda, You Feel Me, and Disability on channels such as Amazon Prime and Tubi. I'm planning to collect all of the short stories in a Kindle edition called Tall, Sarcastic Tales. That's me, I'm tall, and I'm sarcastic. A shout out to listeners in Columbia, South Carolina, New Zealand, California, Texas, and Ireland. And now, the Christmas Cranks Put on a Play, Part 2. The gatekeeper at Harbor Island let them in, no problem, because Brenda had called ahead. Oleander and Arturo were on the list. Sade, the gatekeeper, a hefty, smiley woman in a blue uniform, said, "Good luck with the show."
"What are you talking about? What show?"
asked Oleander. "Brenda says you're putting on a play."
"Forget that,"
said Arturo.
"I can't act any better than Andy McDowell. My charm is all based on my looks."
Sade waved them away. "You're funny. Have a good time, boys."
"What is that Brenda thinking?"
said Oleander. Arturo shrugged.
"She's just trying to get the leg over us, like the rest of the world."
"Well, we are irresistible."
The front yard of Brenda's beach house was decked out in Christmas lights and a blow-up Santa.
"The girls must have stopped at Gray's Hardware,"
said Oleander.
"They always have the best decorations."
When they entered the living room after negotiating a steep ramp, Brenda, Carmen, and Reddy Reed were sitting around drinking alcohol. Carmen had her arm around Brenda. "Welcome, welcome," said Brenda, springing up. "Eggnog, anybody?"
"I'll take some plain iced tea,"
said Oleander.
"Give me the eggnog,"
said Arturo.
"What is this about putting on a play?"
"It's just a reading of the script," said Carmen. "She's got costumes for us and everything." Oleander excitedly patted the top parts of his hands together.
"I want the cape and sword." "You can have it,"
snapped Reddy.
"I'm tired of playing that ridiculous Giordano Bruno dressing up all the time, writing poetry about those fucking faggots."
No, said Brenda. "Your homophobia will not sit well in this house." Oleander, Arturo, and Carmen nodded their heads. Carmen stood up and patted Reddy on the back. "Honey, we know you love us."
"You're as queer as we are,"
snapped Arturo. Reddy trembled and stared at the floor.
"Just don't tell my wife."
Reddy's wife, Helen, was a large Germanic woman, head of the math department.
"If she doesn't know already, she's dumber than she looks."
Arturo was certain that Helen herself was gay and using Reddy as a bushy sort of beard. Brenda boiled some shrimp for dinner, and they enjoyed the sunset on her back porch. She had a smallish yard with a picket fence and a hideous cement alligator, but between the other two houses they could glimpse the ocean. "This place is heavenly," sighed Carmen, grabbing Brenda's hand. "You're sleeping in my room," said Brenda. Since Carmen worked for Brenda at the library, they had to keep their romance on the down low. Reddy has his own room, the kids' guest room. Oleander and Arturo will share my office and shower room on the first floor. Arturo gulped. It was his desire to sleep with Oleander, but he was afraid of the man's panache, his good looks, and his large feet,
Don't worry.
said Oleander.
I know you need help getting up at night to pee. Lydia told me.
Shut up!
Said Arturo. He was no longer worried about his acting ability. He had worse things to think about. His limp spaghetti legs weighed down his brain. Maybe he should just do something about it. After all, he was a fucking robotics engineer. For once, maybe he should divert his energy from creating diving fish cameras and car-building machineries and concentrate on an artificial body for himself. Everybody wanted to sleep early. Reddy trotted off with a pile of books.
Good night, chickens.
Brenda invited Carmen to help her redecorate the master bedroom,
Well, that leaves just us.
said Oleander.
Need any help?
Arturo glared at him.
Wheel me into the shower.
They found out that the shower door was not big enough to fit the wheelchair,
Wish I had never driven into that 18-wheeler,
said Arturo.
so I wouldn't be in this wheelchair.
Yeah, that was really stupid of you.
Agreed Oleander.
And you were drunk.
He helped Arturo onto the plastic shower chair and then waited in his twin bed. Arturo felt less despondent as he was showering himself. Oleander had seen his naked body without throwing up. Once Arturo had navigated into his bed, they talked for a few minutes,
President O'Reilly is a real idiot.
said Arturo.
They should never let the Irish run anything, not even a university.
I don't pay attention to him.
Said Oleander.
I'm scheduled to teach 3 classes in the fall, and I signed a contract with a Big 5 publisher to write a novel.
In your dreams.
No, it's true. It's gonna be about us.
You mean you and me?
No, silly. The Cranks.
Arturo wanted to slide under the covers and lose consciousness. Oleander had not guessed about Arturo's feelings for him,
Good night.
said Oleander, and he turned out the light. The next morning, Arturo rented a golf cart at the community center so he could access the beach along with the others. To his great annoyance, all of the cranks piled onto the golf cart with him. The cart rocked and swayed as they stepped on.
You people are supposed to get some exercise by walking.
Forget walking.
Said Reddy.
I do enough of that on campus. My office is 6 buildings away from the chemistry lab.
They rowed out to the far end of the island and spread some towels on the sand. The sky was cloudy, but the wind was down. Brenda had brought a wicker picnic basket. She also had a bag containing a sword and a cape.
Let's eat.
Said Reddy. He rubbed his hands together. Not yet, said Brenda. We need to read my play. She passed out copies of The Heretic to everyone,
Wow, you come prepared.
said Oleander. Carmen nodded. In this version, Oleander was allowed to read the part of Giordano Bruno, and Brenda and Carmen were the nuns who sheltered him. Reddy was King Henry III of France. Arturo played Pope Clement VIII, who declared Giordano a heretic and ordered him burned at the stake. There was talk of distant suns and distant planets, mathematics, alchemy, and of Bruno's atomic theory. The sun became center of the solar system, and church dogma came under attack.
He will not repent.
Shouted Arturo.
Bruno shall be burned at the stake.
Oleander screamed during the immolation.
Ah! Ah!
It was 1600, and Carmen, Reddy, Brenda, and Arturo transformed into the tourists watching Bruno burn.
That was fun.
Sighed Arturo once the flames had died down.
Playing the bad guy for once.
I'm glad to take a lesser role.
Said Reddy.
Being Bruno is always exhausting.
Oleander smiled and nodded.
He had so many friends and so many enemies.
Bruno got around, said Brenda. I just love him. Every woman who studies Bruno falls in love with him, snapped Carmen. That doesn't mean he was easy to live with,
Now let's eat for real.
said Reddy. The picnic basket contained cheese sandwiches, crudités, water, wine, and cupcakes. "Honey, you outdid yourself," said Carmen. "Food is delicious."
And how?
Said Arturo, closing his eyes. By the time they got back to Brenda's house, everybody was sunburned except for Oleander, who always applied sunscreen 60.
You'll ruin your skin.
He scoffed at the others.
I need to slather on some Noxema and take a nap.
Said Arturo. He wheeled toward the bedroom. After a shower and rubbing on the cold cream, Arturo hoisted himself onto the bed. His legs were feeling lighter. He slept. When he woke up an hour later, Oleander was snoring lightly in the bed next to him. "Geesh, he even snores with style," thought Arturo. Oleander woke up and interlaced his hands behind his head.
Oh, you think you're so tough.
Yawned Oleander.
But you've been living your dream your entire life.
How poetic.
Sneered Arturo.
You're just a walking, farting, fairy poet. I hate you.
Oleander stood up and smiled. He plopped down on Arturo's bed and put his arms around him.
I hate you too.
And that's the end, people. Thank you.